Canada has already seen the show, and there's a really great buzz already online. Fans of yours who have been fans of yours for a long time, especially. Is there anything that, like, when the American audience watches, you don't want, you want them to go in fresh, or are you hoping they kind of do, have a general idea of who Abby is versus, who Manny was?
I think when people watch it, they're really different characters, so, or maybe they're not. Maybe I just think I did a really great job. But it's just a really different situations. It's a lot more real than I think, and I think anything I've seen on TV with the industry. So I think they're going to get wrapped up in that as opposed to comparing them, because they're so different. They're so different.
Yeah. And
really different.
Well, I mean, Abby is very much like anyone who's out here in LA knows an Abby, maybe knows 3 or 4 Abbies, the struggling artist who's just trying to make it.
Are an Abby.
Exactly. I mean, but the thing is, she really is good and just hasn't found her time yet.
Yeah.
So is that something that kind of resonated with you in terms of like why you wanted to take the role?
Gosh, I guess I never thought of that. Definitely, it's a role that I really wanted, because I've been down here and it's been really hard, and when you're trying to break, especially after filming something for so long, it doesn't get easier. You're always trying to break and break again, and you could just be nothing the next day. So I know what it's like to be dictated by what you want your future to be,
right, and
for your emotions to be just up and down, and having a complex from LA. It's everybody I know down here.
Yeah, and I mean, but the thing is, she actually is very talented, and
How do you know?
she is, well, I think she is, and she, listen, she wasn't 100% in that first audition, and she still did an amazing job at that song, so that's something, right?
Yeah.
But I mean, she is also very hopeful in the fact of, no matter how much I'm struggling, I'm not going to give up. So is that like a message that you're hoping, fans who are creative and artistic in themselves can take away from the show and can say, I have to go through some of these struggles to make it?
I definitely think that giving up, or if you choose to stick with it, it's such a case-by-case basis, because you never know when somebody breaks, and you never know how many things you have to go through until you make it. And whether you should start doing something else, it's really depends on the person, depends how much you can take, depends how quickly it happens.
Okay. I mean, she kind of takes a lot, I think, in the first few episodes.
Yeah.
So but I do think one of the things that's great is that she finds this surrogate family pretty quickly, in the friends of the complex and in Nick and Connor. As it stands in the first 6, is there, Nick or Connor, one of the guys that you think is maybe better for Abby and maybe can help her a little bit more with her journey?
The thing is that Nick and Connor are both really, really great guys. And I always say that it's so different because Connor is an actor, which is probably great because everything that she's going through, someone can relate, or if you're going away to film a movie or anything like that, you have somebody who's doing what you do, which is very, it's very unique from a lot of different jobs. And then you have Nick, who's completely out of it, living kind of on the outs, which she can relate with, and also kind of takes her out of that world. So both great guys. So either way, I mean, I'd go for both, whatever.
Okay, yeah, I mean, you're set either way. And I mean, she does have Tariq, who's a great shoulder to lean on as well.
Definitely.
But we don't get a sense of really how they became friends. Did you guys work on like a backstory, or is it just...
Well, I think some of the characters are from Canada, like me.
Yes.
And they were friends before they went down there. And, we don't see them together a lot, but when we do see them, it's really, really sweet. And I think why they are friends is because they're so immersed into what they're doing. And that's why, I mean, it's kind of inspiring. Tariq is really, really driven. They're kind of mirror images of one another. you know, just in 2 different industries.
Right.
So at least we know why they're friends, right?
Definitely. Do you see? We haven't seen on screen, but do you see a lot of like conversations behind the scenes between Tariq and Abby about their love lives, especially because he confides in her something that he's really not supposed to confide in anybody. So I assume she can be trusted.
Yeah, well, there's definitely a comfort level there, and I don't think Abby is a big mouth. As I said before, she's just like, she's only thinking about one thing.
Right.
And it's controlling her life. And I think, you know, all these different things are happening to her, like, you know, getting, you know, the morning after pill, or, you know, taking accident. Just there's so many different things that can happen in real life that are happening to her, but anything she feels, or in this roller coaster of emotion, it's just all from that world. She doesn't care about anything else, which I think makes her somebody good and bad to confide in. Like, I have a problem. I don't care.
Well, but it's interesting because, you know, she's trying to get control, and yet she's choosing a profession where she really will have no control ever, because it's all about, you know, what somebody else wants for a role, no matter how good she does in it. So is there going to come a time, maybe in the 13 that you're about to shoot, where she's choosing between acting and singing, or is she trying to blur the line?
I think eventually Abby will try and blur the line between acting and singing, or acting and singing. But right now, I mean, personally, what I've experienced is I've always really liked to do my own thing musically, and you need your own money to do that. So I think financially it makes more sense to act and have that kind of support behind you, or else, you know, you're going to be a starving musician. And Abby obviously loves both.
Right.
She did a lot of musical theater and all that kind of stuff, so definitely, hopefully she'll get into both. I'd like to work on that.
Right. I mean, in the track she was working on for Cal was amazing. So if that gives her a little bit of money, maybe.
Yeah.
Okay. So what was one of your favorite stories to film for the first 6? Because you've had a really great mix of like the very serious and also some really great comedic moments.
Oh gosh. Well, the most exciting was definitely the first few episodes, because I was just getting used to the character, and there are a lot of different things going on. The throw-up scene was really fun because I had a tube going up my arm, and there was like pressure. It went up my nose. It was really like I was throwing up. I mean, I tasted it.
Lovely.
Yeah, and it was warm, and it just smelled like baby formula.
It's probably what it was, actually.
Real breast formula. No, and the stripper scenes were really fun because, you know, me and Shalane were both really, really nervous. I mean, I've never done anything with that little clothing, so I guess I was just trying to focus on being sexy. It didn't work, obviously. And I'm like trying to dance, and I'm like being really stiff.
But it worked for the character, because, I mean, that's exactly her. She wasn't, you know, it's not something she set out to do. It's something she has to do to survive.
Yeah, so that was really exciting and really nerve-wracking. And I had to learn to be comfortable with my body.
As you do in Hollywood. Is there something you'd love to see happen in the next 13, like a side of Abby that we haven't gotten to explore yet?
Maybe her backside. I think everybody should get to know
her.
Sure,
there you go.
Gosh, there's so many different... how Abby handles work on set is something I'd really like to see, because we've seen her struggle. But, you know, as the Connor character sort of tells, it's such a different set of problems once you do start filming and working these long hours, and you never get to see any of your friends, and, you know, battling with what you think your character should be and how to portray it, how to work with so many people around you, the relationships you can have on set. The next step, I think, is her booking something. I think she's really headstrong, and she's obviously set and as I said, it's dictating her life. I don't think she'd ask Connor for help. I don't think that's in her head, and I don't think she's that type of person. She wants to feel like she's earned it, and yeah, I think the next step is seeing her set of problems if she doesn't make it.
Okay. Great. Well, thank you. It was
Thank
great
you
to
so
meet
much.
you.